Same, but different. But still same.
The worst F-15 in the game, the BAZ Meshupar. And that's the last time I'm going to call it that. I'm going to call it the BAZ Improved for the rest of the video because I just don't want to butcher its name. But getting straight to it, just like a hooker, the BAZ Improved is the worst F-15 solely because of TWS. It does not have TWS. And there's a few other little things that it doesn't have that I'll list off. It doesn't have radar HMD. It does not come with rockets. It has no AGMs or anything else like it. Only TV guided GBUs. Now you may say to yourself, no TWS, no problem. If you're at this BR, you've probably played a myriad of different planes that didn't have TWS, no big deal. But you didn't play a lot of different planes that had Fox 3s. Especially now that TWS also has data link. Most of the veteran players will understand what I'm saying, but for those of you that don't, long story short, Fox 3s have the ability to communicate with your plane's radar. This is a big deal because it allows the missile to get real-time info from your radar, and having TWS allows multiple missiles to get data from the radar in real time on multiple different targets. Are you following? Kind of like how you've been following your crush on Instagram for 6 years, really cyber stalking and haven't really done anything about it. Anyways, this plane, because it doesn't have TWS, doesn't have that ability. Unlike most of the other planes at 13.7 that have data link and TWS at this BR. And this puts you at a big disadvantage. And again, for those of you that don't know how this works, this means that you can't shoot multiple different missiles at multiple different targets. All of the other F-15s at this BR can do that. Now, the BAZ Improved is stuck using a regular search PD radar, locking one target, and a hard lock at that, and shooting one missile at that target. But what does this really mean for the BAZ Improved? This means at the about 25 to 35 kilometer range, you're at a steep disadvantage and you better hope no one's shooting missiles at you because you really can't fight back. If you try to fire back, you better hope you can go cold or notch before that enemy's missile gets to you, which in my experience most of the time does not happen. You'll notice in most of my clips I'm in a closer engagement range with most of these targets, hoping that I can fire the missiles off before they get theirs off on me, or giving me a more time to notch or go cold on people. And that honestly leads to a lot harder gameplay on my end where I really can't escape certain missiles like right here. But it's partially my fault, I kind of just dove into the fight there. But you can make certain situations work for you. Here, there's a couple targets that push the left-hand side that should have gone to their left-hand side. But I'm within the 25 kilometer range, I can keep a hard lock, I can launch my AMRAM out, and just let it follow. I'm going to start to bring it to the side of my radar, just in case that I need to go cold or to notch. But once it's within the 15 kilometer range, I don't even have to keep the lock. Luckily, this was an F-14 that was coming towards me. If this was an F-15, I don't know if I would have been this lucky. The other major downside, like I said earlier, was the no radar HMD. But don't get it twisted. The BAZ Improved does have HMD, but really only for the IR missiles. Most people love HMD. I'm not like super attached to it, so I don't count it as a huge negative. And lastly, for the ground players and some of the people that really like to grind, not having rockets makes grinding bases not as simple. And then the no AGMs or anything like it, except for the TV guided bombs, that could be a big deal for the ground players. But take that as you will. Now, before we get into the positives, don't forget I have a link down below to get a discount on the Gaijin store and to get access to my decal in-game. Also, don't forget to sub and subscribe, it really helps out the video. But now let's get into the positives of the plane. There's not a whole lot of them, but I'll list them out. The BAZ Improved does have a better engine than the F-15C, but it is honestly marginal in my opinion. But it also does contribute to a higher climb rate. In my opinion, the best positive that the BAZ Improved has over all the other F-15s is the improved turn time. In a lot of situations, I can see this turn time and actually feel it in game. In some of the clips, you've probably noticed some really hard pulling turns that have saved my life, especially when going cold to missiles. But that's all there really is to write about this plane. Situation right here, I'm able to pull a lot harder than usual. I'm gonna black out, but I get guns on. Perfect situation to show off that turn time. Overall impressions, this plane is not amazing. At the end of the day, it still does have an F-15 airframe. And this guy right here, you got Gaijin, you're about to get Gaijin in a second. But it does still have an F-15 airframe. which is nice. And the increased turn time is nice, but not having TWS, not having the radar HMD really drags this thing behind the competitors at 13.7. If you're looking for a challenge and you've been grinding Israel for a while, go ahead and play this. But if you're trying to grind Israel just for this plane, I highly wouldn't recommend it. I'm going to throw the stats on screen up right here so you can see the differences while both planes have no loadouts on it, and you can make the decision for yourself whether it's worth it or not. But that hasn't stopped me from having good games in this. In this particular match, we're playing an EC map, or Enduring Confrontation, which is the bigger maps for those of you that don't play ARB that much. This allows me to make a lot of separation, not be crunched up with all my teammates, and to gain altitude and have the ability to fight people a little more one-on-one where I think this thing shines. What's interesting to me, though, is this fight in general. This guy is really not notching or going cold, even though he had about 20 kilometers to do so. He's just looping through the air and casually getting bonked on the head. Maybe he gained a couple brain cells just from that fight alone. But because you get to sit up in the sky in EC, I really get to pay attention to my radar. Now, this dogfight right here, this is something I want to talk to you guys about. When your teammate is dogfighting someone, especially over here on the ground, do not launch an AMRAAM. I was thinking about it. Don't do it. You'll end up killing the friendly. Your radar on your missile may end up picking up the wrong guy, and it'll go straight for your teammate, and you'll have a bad time. I'm just going to float over this fight and kind of figure out if there's separation or not. I see the fight kind of start to separate where my missile wouldn't pick him up, so I dropped the missile anyways. But that's only because I saw that level of separation. Don't be that guy in top tier team killing your teammates over and over and over because you don't understand how the missiles work, because that used to be me. Now I see myself getting locked up by this guy, and I'm going to try and get out of that. Dropping as many flares and chaff as I can, going cold to the missile, and it works. But that's how that improved turn time helps out a lot right there. 2 seconds of improved turn time really makes a difference. Now I'm going to use my Uno reverse card, drop an aim 9M on his head, because he's probably not looking directly up and doesn't know that I'm right there, and go ahead and get that easy kill. The main thing you want to do in the BAZ improved, as well as a lot of the other F-15s, F-16s, Mirages, especially here at top tier, is really pay attention to your radar. It's going to tell you a lot, or not really your radar, your RWR. Radar and RWR, I guess that's better to say. Especially when you're at a disadvantage, just like the BAZ improved. And before we finish the video out, I'll give a little commentary on this fight. This F-15 looked like he was coming right towards me. I already saw him shooting at my teammate, so I know he has something probably spooled up, so I want to start getting defensive, but he's not dropping anything. Perfect, boom, kill, and now we're going to turn back into the battlefield and see what else we can pick up. But as we're coming in, we see a missile trail up there. Boom, that is a missile. Realize it's not coming from me, want to drop one on him, and instantly go defensive and try and go cold. But I don't have to worry about it, it's not tracking me anymore, and the easiest severe damage I've had in my life. Thinking that it's over, I see another radar lock. How vengeful, almost like my ex-girlfriend, can't stand that bitch. But because he wanted to act like that, we're going to go ahead and drop one more aim 9M on him, just to show him who's boss and assert our dominance. Because that Russian piece of trash couldn't possibly be better than us. But that raises another good point. Unless you've killed whatever your target is, make sure that they're dead and not launching a missile at you. But to end the video, I wanted to thank you guys again for the 100K landmark that we just reached. It wouldn't have been possible without you guys. I'm going to be trying to grind out more videos soon. I just have a lot of stuff on my plate. I also want to let you guys know that probably in September-ish, I'm going to be gone for a month doing some military stuff, so don't expect too many videos dropping then, but I'm slowly trying to record more so that there's some videos there while I'm gone. But other than that, if you have any comments on what I could do better or what you want to see next, leave them down below, and I'll see you guys on the next video.